Alrighty, hey folks, I'm going to walk you through note set number 4, and I just wanted to make sure that we all understand the product rule, which is for exponents, versus combining like terms, which is for adding. Because I find as a teacher one of the most common mistakes is mixing up these two methods. So x to the 5th times x cubed, x to the 5th times x cubed is not the same as x to the 5th plus x to the 5th plus x to the 5th. Know that these are being added and that these are being multiplied, which means we're going to do different things. So if I have 1x to the 5th plus 1x to the 5th, I actually have 2x to the 5th. And to say I have 2 of a certain kind of variable, I just put a 2 in front of it. That's what I do for adding, okay? So I have 2x to the 5th being added to 1x to the 3rd. So that's my final answer. Versus on this one, I'm multiplying. So I touch my exponents on this one. I don't mess with coefficients because exponents tell us how many times something's being multiplied. So here, this tells me I have 5 x's being multiplied. And then I have 5 more x's being multiplied. And then I have 3 x's being multiplied. So all together, there are 13 x's being multiplied. And so that 13 on my exponent tells me how many times something is being multiplied. So again, coefficients tell me how many times something's being added, that number in the front. But nothing was multiplied here, so I don't change my exponent. Versus here, everything's being multiplied. And so the number of things being multiplied is what I'm going to show by changing x to the 13. I cannot combine 2x to the 5th and x cubed because they are not the same thing. Remember, combining like terms means combining the exact same thing. So having 2x to the 5th would be like having, I don't know, 2 boats. Okay? Versus having 2x to the 3rds is like having, I don't know, 2 apples. If I have 2 apples plus 2 boats plus 1 apple, I don't suddenly have an apple boat monster. I can't combine them any further. I'm just counting how many of each thing I have. So they have to have the exact same variable. We're going to practice telling the difference on the back. So let's do that together. 3x to the 5th times 5x to the 4th. Remember, like terms is for adding, and the product rule is for multiplication. So nothing is being added here. These are being multiplied together. So I'm going to use my product rule. And then I showed in class, when you have coefficients, you just break it up. So this is the same as 3 times x to the 5th times 5 times x to the 4th. You can change the order of multiplication. 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2, for example. So I'm going to change my order so that my plain numbers are being multiplied and my variables with exponents are being multiplied. 3 times 5 is 15. If I have 5x's being multiplied times 4x's being multiplied, then I have 5 plus 4x's being multiplied. So that's x to the 9. Here, let's check. There's minus signs, so you might think, oh, like terms because adding and subtracting are in the same family. But you're not actually subtracting these. Notice this is still being multiplied, multiplied, multiplied. So it's a product rule because everything's being multiplied together. This is just a -2 times an x to the 5th, -5 times x to the 10th. So then to solve this, I break it up, -2 times x to the 5th times -5 times x to the 10 times y. And then I get -2 times 5 times, -5 times x to the 10 times y squared. And that makes positive 10. A negative times a negative is a positive. X to the 10. And again, I said these is 1y and 2y's being multiplied makes y squared. It's the same as y to the 1 plus